you have a good life, but what's possible if you're willing to step out of that and take some bigger risks and
We like literally got on that plane with a suitcase. We had no house, we had nothing to go to. Figured it all out once we got there.
you've created this lifestyle for yourself where you are in another country and traveling and having time together as a family and not sort of just stuck in the what I'll call the rat race of just being, in one place and going through the motions. I mean, maybe it feels like that for you some days as well, but what made you, or did you always want to do that? Or, like you said, how busy your business was and how, life was just moving along as it was, but you created this massive change. Like, where did that come about and how did that come about?
I do have to remember that sometimes, like we are living what we wanted, even though
Yeah.
we're so in it sometimes that, like you mentioned, the rat race, and we were definitely living in that rat race back at home. But it's almost like still living that rat race in our minds because we're still trying to build a business, we're still trying to achieve things, and we're still trying to do those things, even though we're in a completely different place, different country, different part of the world.
Mm.
But at least we've got that flip side to it now. Like we're not just in the rat race, we're also being able to explore and do these other things, which helps counter out the rat race sometimes because
Yeah.
yeah, it's like you're like, okay, yeah, I'm busy doing this business and doing, going for my dreams and goals. And then on
Mhm.
the other hand, we're in a completely different countries, we're exploring. We're actually going back
Mm.
to Vietnam next week for a couple of weeks. I'm actually looking forward to that. I really liked Vietnam. And yeah, and just appreciating like, okay, yeah, we did build this and it was a dream for so long. And
Mhm.
so it wasn't like a quick, let's just pack up and go. It was like, okay, we want to be able to get to this point. What do we need to do? We need to create an online business so we've got the freedom to do so. We need to do this, we need to do that to get us here. And even though once we made the decision, it was probably about 4 months, 4 or 5 months from when we made that, okay, we're going to do this, to actually doing it, getting on that plane and going. But there was also many years of lead up to that point as well. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, because even moving, like you moved from New Zealand to Australia in that time as well, right? Before you then took off.
Yeah, yeah. So we were in WA for about 18 months. So we left Australia, oh sorry, I left New Zealand to Australia to mainly just to give the kids some more opportunities, and just felt a little bit stagnant in New Zealand where we were,
Yeah, okay.
and just felt like, okay, it kind of almost felt like this is as far as we're going to get here.
Hmm.
So we, yeah, took off to Australia for different, like, see what happens. We had no idea. We like literally got on that plane with a suitcase. We had no house, we had nothing to go to. Figured it all out once we got there. And it panned out because our eldest boy is still over there doing his apprenticeship and doing amazing.
Hmm.
And we were there for about 18 months. And then it doesn't matter where you are, if you're still in that rat race, like you mentioned, it just follows you to the next place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it followed us there. And then we found ourselves back in that rat race trap.
Mm.
And so we're like, okay, things need to change. We need to just expand our horizons somehow and just work. We just have to do something differently. So that's when we thought, okay, we'll get the business online and we'll just create that freedom. We always wanted to travel.
Mhm.
We had children when we were younger, so we didn't really get that travel like you did when you were younger. So
Mhm.
it was always a dream to be able to do that once the kids were a bit older.
Yeah.
And so we were like, why not? Why not now? Let's just go for it. And yeah, it's like I mentioned, even though elements of that race are still with us because we're still doing the things, however, it's in a completely different scenery, and there's
But you've
different.
designed it to be, you've designed this life. You haven't just, and I think that's where I'm at is like still just going along, that I'm just getting pulled along by the flow of things and work and mortgage and kids in school and sport. And like that is life right now. Whereas you guys saw yeah, there's got to be, I still think that there's got to be more to it. Like, is this it? Like, this can't just be it. And you've seen beyond that, and you're like, yes, there is more, and I'm going to keep moving. And you've taken such courageous steps to like pack up and leave your home country with a suitcase and three children to
Yeah.
start in Australia. And then again, you're like, oh, no, this isn't quite right. And you've taken another big move. Like, so brave. And I just admire you so much for just seeing there's a different way. And maybe you're not fully there yet, but gosh, you've like made massive inroads. And even to know how to create the life, like that you're focusing all your efforts on creating this online business to give you the freedom to live into more of what you want.
Yeah, it brings me back. Like what was popping into my head as he was saying that is that if nothing changes, nothing changes.
Yeah.
And I think we got very much to that point where we're just like over
Mm.
the situation that we keep getting pulled back into, and like something had to change, something we had to do something different.
Yeah.
And yeah, and like it now, yeah, just traveling around and even exposing the kids to different things has been incredible, and seeing the different things around the world and
Mm.
just gives you different perspectives. And I'm sure you had that when you were younger and did your travel. And
Yeah, like that, like you talk about the freedom, like I experienced that so much at that point in my life. And because I had no responsibilities then, there was no mortgage, there were no kids, and it was just like, oh, it gives me goosebumps thinking about it. Just how good that felt to leave home and just do whatever I wanted to do, be wherever I wanted to be, not kind of feel responsible to anyone or to be anywhere at any, I mean, obviously had jobs and rent to pay and whatnot when I was set up over there. But yeah, God, that felt good. And I know it's never gonna, there's kids now that I'm always going to worry about, even when they're older. So it's never going to relive that specifically. But I know that feeling exists. It's like, how do I get just even a little bit more of that into my life? And perhaps for us, knowing our kids as well, like one of them in particular is just such a creature of habit. Like we took them to Thailand and she did it was just so far out of her comfort zone. So we're like, oh, okay, well, we're waiting till she's 18 till we go anywhere else that because Pat and I like love to travel and we traveled a lot together before we had them. And we haven't well, we went to Thailand. That's probably the only trip really other than a Queensland holiday we've taken since we've had them. So yeah, like we see that that's the life we want to live. But right now, even his work, like how can he step out of what he knows and has, created so much for us, but it doesn't have the flexibility that comes with doing your own thing and really stepping out of, and it's a comfort zone. Like it's security, it's like knowing you can pay your bills, that, you have a good life, but what's possible if you're willing to step out of that and take some bigger risks and yeah, make those big moves.
yeah, and I love how you go back to that feeling that you had when you had that freedom of traveling. And sometimes when we get caught up in the autopilot of life, especially when we get to motherhood and things, and it's great, like you knowing that feeling, and
Mm.
sort of sometimes we can just like sit with that and bring in that feeling and just think, oh, how can I bring that feeling more into my everyday life now? And it's obviously going to be completely different to just
Mm.
traveling and not having those responsibilities. But what way could I have to create that feeling that might look in a different way, but
Yeah.
adapt to how my life is now? But just creating more of those, bringing more of those feelings into it somehow.
And it's crazy, like even just revisiting that memory of that period of my life, I feel it really viscerally through my body. Like it's like literally goosebumps and like, oh gosh. So I can tap into that feeling, even though I'm no longer living my best life in London and traveling around Europe. It's actually still here with me. So yeah, what are the things now that I can do to yeah, help me feel that
Yeah.
even more? And there's been a big bit too of like, yeah, so you become a family and you've got different responsibilities and your life's not really your own anymore. And I don't know that I ever really had hobbies, to be honest, but it was like, I didn't even know what I liked anymore. Like, what would I do if I had time to do it? I really lost that side of me. And I've been able to tap more and more into it, but it's like, what generates that feeling? What is the thing you're doing when you're feeling that, like, I don't know, like for me, it was I started playing the piano and I'm like, oh my God, it feels so good. It's like this whole body kind of feeling of yes, like this is a yes for me. This feels really good. So, is it when you're with a particular friend or for me, probably dancing as well is another. So where can you bring in those little pieces of it, even though I can't take off? on my own
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
Europe again. How can I
That-
recreate that given my situation that I'm now in?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And
Mm.
another memory that I was thinking of just then as you were talking was before we had children, Dan and I would literally on a Friday after work would just jump in the car and just start driving and go. We'll just see where we end up, find a motel and go away for the weekend. And it was really exciting because we didn't have any expectations. We had no idea where we were going. And then we'll get to a place and go, oh yeah, this looks pretty cool. We'll just do, we'll stay here. And that whole freedom of, yeah, like you said, no responsibility and just being able to do that. And then as the kids got older, we would reminisce in those times and think, oh, when we could just jump in the car. So we did start recreating that. When, I mentioned we didn't live near family, so help was difficult. But if a family member came to visit, we would take off for a night and do the same thing. We'd just like end up somewhere and go away for a night. And as the kids got a little bit older, especially when the oldest one was sort of old enough to take care of the other two, we left them for a night,
Yeah.
just maybe like 12 hours or something, just and
Yeah.
then we'd go and do the same thing
Yeah. It's
and
so
just recreate.
important to be able to tap into that. And, it sounds like adventure. And that's probably, is that one of your values? Like just that freedom and adventure. And it's so, like, it makes you feel alive, right? To go and do that. And then
Yeah,
if you do that, you come back to your family and you feel really invigorated and satisfied and you keep going along, and then, plan the next one and
yeah, it's just
you
that
feel fulfilled.
excitement or adventure or doing
Yeah.
something a little bit different
Yeah.
and not having any expectations around something, just
Love
going and
that.
doing something.
I
And I
just
think,
imagine, sorry.
oh no, I was just going to say quickly, and I think that's what kind of drew us to this travel that we're doing as well, is just recreating that sense of adventure and a little bit of uncertainty and not having
Mm.
any expectations and just letting life lead us. Yeah.
And how do the kids go? Because what I was going to say is like, I can imagine, we even talked about going away on the weekend down to this gorgeous beach house that we have. It's my uncle's. And we love it, but there's no Wi-Fi. And the kids are like, no, we don't want to go. So all I can imagine is my kids complaining about, no, where we, and they like that certainty, like they want to know where we're going and what we're doing. So are your kids more aligned with you guys like that? They're just happy to just follow along and go wherever the wind takes you, or do they push back a bit?
They definitely had reservations about it when we first mentioned it to them. They were kind of like, oh, where are you taking us? What are we
Yeah.
what are we in for? And especially taking them out of their element, like their friend groups,
Mm.
and yeah, all that as well. And it was probably a little bit of an adjustment for sure. And life has been very different compared to what it was, but different, not in a bad way, but just different.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, it's they've changed their tune along the way as well. Like at the
Mm.
beginning, they were missing their friends and they were a little bit unsure, and especially going to like some third world countries, they're like, where the hell have you brought us? And probably questioning us as parents at that point. But as we've gone through and they've been exposed to different things and can see different ways of how the other side of the world lives and really exposing them to that, and they almost gained a new appreciation for what we have given them and the opportunities that this has allowed for them as well. And we have been, because we've been doing this in around Southeast Asia now for just gone a year at the beginning of this month. And we're sort of thinking, oh, should we head back home for a little bit, or what should we do next type thing. We always sort of wanted to go for a year or two, and we've done a year. So it was kind of like, oh, do we go back home or what do we do?
Mm.
So it's in conversation at the moment, and especially my youngest, who was very much missing his friends and stuff at the beginning and wanted to go home very early on, to now going, what? We're going back home? No, like we want to go to here and we want to go here. And like he's just totally in
Wow.
the mode now. And so, yeah, it's definitely an adjustment. But
Mm.
like you say, if you're going away with no Wi-Fi, of course they're going to be like, oh, at the beginning. But then as they ease into it, bring out the board games or hang
Yeah.
out with mum and dad and go and do something, then they'll be like, oh, actually. This might
Not
not
so
be
bad.
as we think. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's like just shifting their perspective, like how amazing, this view of the world that you've exposed them to, and, third world countries, and probably them seeing how lucky they are and what they're grateful for. And like, that's just priceless.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's been some real heartbreaking moments, like just seeing young children begging for money, like on the side of the street and things like that. And then they're so little, and like it's, there's parts of
Mm.
it that aren't always glamorous.
Yeah.
Um, and but they're creating that empathy and that compassion, and just being able to see them, just being exposed to things
Yeah.
differently,
Yeah.
as well is, I think, is just helping shape them as humans. Um,
Mm.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, whether are we doing the right thing, are we doing the wrong thing? I don't know, but
No, I think like seeing your parents like just following what they want, and like that is inspiring, motivating, that they're not just settling for a life that, well, they're seeing there's another way than just settling for a life that you kind of just go along, going through the motions all the time, just doing as you think you're supposed to do. And whether it's the right or wrong decision, like it's a decision, and you've
yeah,
just broken away from that norm and like the expectation of kind of the way you go along in life. And I love it. I think it's
yeah.
amazing.
There was a moment with my oldest son. He's 20 now, and when I was doing my coaching training, I used him as one of my clients that I practiced on because he was very willing, which was really great.
Mm.
And one of the questions through our one of our sessions together was, who do you admire? Like, what do who is it that you admire? And just trying to bring those elements into the conversation of what he admires about these people,
Mhm.
and yeah, just reflecting that back. But what really surprised me was like, he sort of thought about it for a moment. And he's like, my parents. I was like,
Oh,
I was like, really? I wasn't expecting that.
cool.
And yeah, and so like moments like that, you're like, okay, well, I haven't done too bad as a parent then. And what we're
Absolutely.
doing is, yeah, is
Yeah.
uh, appreciating that side of it as
Yeah.
well.
Giving yourself a credit though, right? Like you're kind of following along, trying to create this life that you really want, and to feel inspired by life, right? Like new experiences, and being able to sit in the uncertainty and try new things and go new places, and be okay with that. And there's that element of expanding your nervous system capacity too for that uncertainty, because so many of us kind of clutch onto what we know and the familiar because that feels
Mm.
really safe. But you're showing your kids that actually it's okay. Yes, we might feel uncomfortable. And you said he stayed on and done his apprenticeship there. Like, what an amazing challenge, opportunity for him to really step into himself and like his full potential.
Yeah, absolutely. He's doing amazing. He's doing really, really well. And he had to all of a sudden, living at home with his parents, to all of a sudden, okay, I'm an adult on my own on this big
Yeah.
bad world, because now the rest of the family is traveling over to Southeast Asia.
Mhm.
And he's really taken it in his stride, and I can see the growth in him just by having that experience as well. It's been amazing to see. And it
Yeah.
also, I can see in him as well that he now realizes that there's more to just waking up, going to a job every day, that there is more to life. And just even the way he talks about it and stuff, I can really see that, okay, by doing what we've done, has shown them that there's another way as well. It's not just all the rat race. Like, there's more
Yeah.
to life than the rat race. And
Yeah.
yeah, so he's come over to see us a couple of times in this past year,
Mhm.
and it's great for him to come and see these places that we've been experiencing as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just created that eye opener for the kids
Yeah.
to think, oh, if we want to do something, we can make it happen, or there's more to life than just
I
getting sucked into that rat
Yeah,
race.
that's it. There's more, there's got to be more to life, right? And whether it's like you're happy kind of working the job, paying the mortgage, but you have things that really fulfill you, whether that's through hobbies or, activities on the week, whatever it is, like you just sort of, I think it starts, doesn't it? In like, what does make me feel good and what do I want? Like, am I feeling happy, content, like satisfied with where I'm at right now? Sometimes it's a phase, right? Like I can see with my kids are still a bit younger, and, it's a phase of life, and slowly you sort of see a bit more light where you've been in the trenches for so long and it's been so consuming. And there's more moments of freedom just for us that, we can leave them now and take the dog for a walk, or we're not quite at the let's leave them overnight. I'm like, bring that on because that
But
sounds
we'll get
awesome.
there. You'll get there.
We will. But yeah, just slowly seeing the changes. So that opens up more, right? More possibility as they build a bit more resilience, and trying to, yeah, just expose them to a little bit more at a time. Or, yeah, just it might not be overseas for us necessarily, but yeah, it's like just really questioning, is this what we have signed up for? Like it's just the questioning of it, right? Like, am I happy with where things are at and my life as it stands? Or, maybe right now I see we're building towards, like you guys are really building towards this, even bigger, better lifestyle that you want to create through the business, and you're really focused on that. So it feels like you're just in the motions of it right now, but you've got that vision. And I
Mm.
think that helps you through it, right? Like if you didn't have that pulling you through it, what are you doing it for? And it can, when you sort of stick your head up, you're like, what? We've just worked so hard and, been, sometimes it feels like you're pushing shit uphill, but it's like if you're moving towards something, amazing. But if you're just sort of going along and just getting pulled along by the flow without questioning any of it, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. And it's always a little bit tricky when your kids are younger and you feel like, they've got to have them in a stable school and got to have that stable job, to have that stable household, to have that stable
Mm,
income, to do the stable things. And it's really hard to sort of want to shake that boat because of that uncertainty. Or, well, if I go in a completely different direction and it doesn't pan out, like there's so much at stake, and that's
yeah.
really, really difficult. However, like when you're sort of in that dance, just like we discussed before, like just thinking of those moments where you truly like you just bring up those feelings in your body, like it just lights you up, like you with your travel in your younger days, and just how can I bring a little bit more of that into my life now? It doesn't have to be as extreme as quitting the job and picking up the family and traveling the world. Like doesn't have to be
Yeah.
at that scale. But what are the little things that you can bring into your everyday life, even if it's just like something you do once a week, or
Mm,
something that you can look forward to every month, or whatever that may be, just to bring
yeah.
in that little bit more joy, because we get so caught up in the rat race and the autopilot and just getting through the things we need to get through day after day, almost like Groundhog Day, that we forget to bring in those little
Mm.
elements that really keep us grounded and can change things.
Yeah,
Just
definitely shakes things up, doesn't it? So I was looking for those moments of joy, like what lights you up, what sets your
mm,
body kind of alight, and tuning into that too, because that can be something we're not even really attuned to unless we start really noticing. So I love that. Like just follow
yeah,
what feels good.
yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely. Your heart always tells you.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure.